Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and this is Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal podcast with my co-host Frank Santopadre, who said he would write out an introduction for my guests. So I said, all right, I'll just leave it to you. And now he comes in and says he left it at home or he lost it on the subway.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
The dog peed on it. My cat ate it.
And so we have no introduction.
Died, and I lost it at the funeral.
So our next guest was in the Breakfast Club.
That's right. And I was wonderful.
Yes.
Lotharios. Yes, okay.
And he was the voice of E.T. Yes.
Right, there's one more.
He was Linda Blair's stunt woman in The Exorcist. Yeah.
Was I good? I like that.
Yes.
It was good.
Yeah.
You're so versatile.
It was good.
And you one time, I think, teamed up with Steve Rossi after he split up with Marty Allen.
And our catchphrase says, duh. He would always talk and I'd go, duh.
Rossi and Kind. Who could forget them?
Yes,
Right.
they were the best. It was right after Slappy White and Steve Rossi.
Did you work with Slappy White, by the way?
Slappy White?
Yeah. No.
No, but I know they went together now, but Slappy White came after Marty Allen?
Of course.
Yes.
Why?
He teamed up.
I know. Who left who?
Marty Allen was getting work on his own. They liked him more than they liked Steve Rossi.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And
how did that work out?
Now, I should say, I think Richard Kind is here with us. I don't have an intro, but because Frank
I'm
fucked
filming
it
Exorcist
up.
4.
Now, so Steve Rossi teamed up with Slappy White.
That's
their
right.
Black comedian.
Because they wanted to get edgier.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And their big intro, when they'd walk out on stage, was, we're Rossi and White. I'm Steve Rossi. And Slappy White go, and I'm White.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And it went downhill from there.
Wow. And Red Fox teamed with Slappy White, which I didn't know.
Teamed with them, or
yeah.
did they just work?
Red and White.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't know that? Look it up.
And
Okay, I have a question. Was Slappy White great?
Never saw. Did you ever see his stand-up, Gil? I don't think I ever did.
I think Ben Blue teamed up with them. It was red, white, and blue.
We're starting the show with a Ben Blue reference. Richard,
Yes.
thanks for being here.
I don't know what the hell we're gonna. I exploded everything last time I was here.
Oh, we'll
this
find
is a
things.
huge mistake. It's just I don't know why I'm here.
If it makes you feel any better, I think it's a huge mistake to have you
And I'm
back,
here to
too.
support you.
Yes.
You are such a fan of this show.
I got to admit,
Which we
I
are
am.
so-
Let me say one thing before
ahead.
we ever start.
Yes. Go
ahead.
Before I say anything.
Yeah.
I love the man. I love his talent. And I thought that the episode that you did for Christmas time and the short episode.
Oh, Mario.
Mario, the best. How he does not like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol is an outrage.
That is.
It is an outrage. It's better than Alistair Sim. It's a much better than Albert Finney. George C. Scott, great. And
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart,
he's great.
fine. But Mr. Magoo, that's perfection.
I love the Mr. Magoo Christmas
And it's the
Carol.
guy who wrote not Hello Dolly, but Funny Girl and Carousel. I mean, Carousel and not Carousel, Carnival.
yeah.
Bob Merrill. He's out of his head. He's out of his head. I wish he were here today. I would berate him.
Silver and gold. Silver and gold.
When he comes out of the window and says, boy, I can't do Jim Backus. Boy, what day is it? Like that. I'm sobbing.
Yes.
That's all I see.
It was great.
It's great. It's
Yes.
great. He's out of his head.
Fuck him. He's never coming back on the show ever
That
again.
little guinea...
Yeah.
that little guinea... that little guy wanted to say, the words I could say.
But you did write us and say, what, you were driving in the car with your family when you listened to the Betty Davis?
I'm driving back from North Carolina. It's nighttime. My family is all asleep. I have headphones on because I'm listening to the podcast, and I mean, I'm dying laughing from the Betty Davis, and of course your Tony Curtis, great. But his Betty Davis killed me. That, honest to God, that duet just killed me.
It was fun.
And somebody was wise enough, and I don't know who it is, compared it to, because I have, listen to me, I'm going to talk like an athlete, but I have dropped weights in the weight room listening to you do Jerry Lewis under the shitting table.
The Steve Cox episode.
That one, and I know it's 5 minutes and 24 seconds before the end of that episode, and I can listen to that over and over and over again. It's poetry. It's honest to God. It's like some Southern writer, but it's Jerry Lewis just flowing out of your mouth. It kills me.
That's at the end of the Steve Cox episode.
My
really
God,
great.
it killed me.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed me.
I couldn't breathe.
And this one was the same thing.
Now, can you name some Jew-hating celebrities, please?
Can we slander some
Yes.
people?
Go ahead.
Well,
Let's slander.
we can always cut it. We'll say
allegedly,
alleged.
they hate the Jews.
Allegedly
Well, Errol Flynn hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that you can say because he's gone.
Yeah,
well, the definition of an anti-Semite is hating Jews more than is absolutely necessary. And I also say, for those who live in New York, have you ever been to Fairway Market up on 80?
Oh, sure.
On 80th? Okay.
Sure.
Fairway is the only legitimate reason to hate Jews because most aisles are made for 2 carts, for the width of 2 carts. This is made for 1 3/4, and they just bang, and they get the back of your heel, the Achilles heel, and they're pushing, and they're just these little old Jewish ladies who've been up there forever, and you just want to hit them. It's awful. It's just awful. You go, why did they take my grandmother and not this one? I kid, of course.
Now,
okay,
John Wayne had to have hated the Jews.
Okay, I worked at. I belonged to a club that was formerly known for being anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Lakeside. And they used to all stand around and collectively hate the Jews, the gays.
It was a daily activity.
Honest to God, you got Ward Bond.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, here's a great story. Is that God, I hope I didn't talk about this. Walter Brennan?
No, you didn't.
I didn't talk about Walter Brennan?
Ed Asner.
I heard that Walter Brennan was an anti-Semite.
But anti-Semite goes without saying. Okay, that's a given. That's a given. No, but they hated the gay people. They hated gays, hated them, viciously hated the gays. Walter Brennan did not play golf, but he sat at the bar and got drunk all the time. By the way, how tall do you think he was? How tall do you think Walter Brennan was?
Oh, 5'8"?
And he got 6'4".
Walter Brennan
was 6'4".
He's always small on camera.
I know.
Yes.
And he was old when he was 22.
Right.
I know. Right. Like Leo G. Carroll and Walter Brennan, they were always old. But
weird.
I don't want to get Leo G. Carroll in here because I got
George
nothing.
McCready was always an old.
Was always old?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
anyway,
Burt Mustin.
Walter Brennan, along with Wayne and Ward Bond and John Ford, they all were at Lakeside hating any minority. So Walter Brennan, and this was confirmed by a guy who's a member there now and whose mother had a little bed and breakfast, not bed and breakfast, but what do you call a little place like a hotel, but a rooming house.
Yeah.
And when I hear rooming house, I think of George Bailey's
Me
mother.
too. Beulah Bondi.
Yeah, you think of Beulah Bondi. So Walter
Bailey.
Brennan had a place, a small place where he put up gay guys at this rooming house, and he used to go there and have his ways with us.
Good Lord.
I know. Okay,
Wow.
Here's something else. Oh God, this is awful.
Allegedly.
This is awful. I hope to God, because he was a great guy, and
Because we don't want to get sued by Walter Brennan. Yeah.
Well, here's somebody. I mean, one of the nicest men in the world, but from what I hear, God, I don't know whether I should say this.
Well, tell us and leave the name out, and then
There's somebody who we all know and worshipped as an all-American guy and an all-American father, and was a terrific actor, who was known as a chicken hawk. Do you know what a chicken hawk is?
Yeah.
They wait around at the bus station for the young kids?
Yes.
Okay, this guy, and I know this because I knew the first captain of the first SWAT team ever in the world. a guy named Jeff Rogers, a great guy, great guy. I used to play golf with him. And I don't know why. One night, it's a Saturday night, we played gin at Lakeside and everything, and it was just Jeff and I in the room. He's drunk, and I'm drinking. We're just playing cards, and it gets to be 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we're just playing. And he looks up, and he was a real Republican, as are many of those guys over at the Lakeside, the real right wing. And he was a policeman, best friends with Daryl Gates. He was a captain of the first SWAT team, and I'm a diehard liberal. I mean, I'm a real Hollywood liberal. And he just looks up, he goes, Richard, there is no reason for us to be friends. You're a liberal, you do what we have nothing in common, nothing at all in common. But God damn it, I love you. How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
He used to say, he goes, every liberal I talk to, they don't want to hear, you listen. I was pretty good. Well,
Nice.
He told me about this actor.
Now, give us a hint.
I actually did give you some hints.
Okay.
And I can't
Well, we
give
won't
you
say.
any more because I met him. I worked with him once, and he was as wonderful, wonderful, wonderful a guy as you could imagine, but he was a chicken hawk. Okay, if you
George
pass me...
Papard.
Was George Papard a beloved dad?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you after the show.
I have an idea.
And if you search me out or pass me on the street,
Right.
I will tell you,
Okay.
but I will not do
All
it
right,
over
to our-
the
to our-
air.
Fred McMurray.
It's not Fred McMurray, but
No.
Jesus.
We'll tell our listeners, if you see
Ooh.
Richard in the street,
It's
ask him.
close to
Okay.
Fred McMurray.
Now, I will tell you another story. I hope did I tell you the one about Ronald Reagan
No.
at Lakeside? For all that I feel about Ronald Reagan, and as time goes by, he's gotten better in my eyes. Although he probably was a miserable. I probably would not have liked him if he were president today. However, I'm going to burp because I got club soda and I'm talking so much. So, Ronald Reagan is a member of Lakeside, okay? And he had his business manager used to come and play golf with him. And it got to be more than a couple of times. And they told Ronald Reagan, please don't bring him around anymore. And he knew that this was because he was Jewish. And he resigned from the club. Well, now, this was when he was a Democrat, and a union guy.
Right, he was
like
the
that.
president of SAG.
Yeah,
right.
but anyway, he did a very gracious thing. And when not Wilshire Country Club, God knows not Wilshire, Hillcrest Country Club found out, they sent Ronald Reagan a letter and said, thank you very much for what you did. Consider yourself an honorary member of our club. Just don't come more than 6 times.
Interesting.
As a joke.
So who's the one they wouldn't allow in?
Oh, okay. So did I tell the Johnny Mathis story?
I don't think you did.
Oh, this is the funniest line ever. I always, if I didn't, this is how I tell the story. This is the funniest line ever said by a bigot, is that Johnny Mathis was trying to get into Lakeside. And, of course, he's a gay man as well as being black. So somebody went up to the head of membership and said, I hear that Johnny Mathis wants to join. What's it look like? And the guy goes, chances aren't.
Now, who's the guy?
Sorry.
Who was the Jew that Ronald Reagan quit over?
Marvin Shapiro. I don't know. It's his business manager.
So it wasn't anyone.
No one famous.
I wish we could malign somebody else.
Oh,
No, we can't.
God.
No one famous.
You know-
it was his business manager.
You know who was?
I don't know the name of my business manager.
You know who was racist and anti-Semitic? Old character actor Eugene Pallette.
Oh, you told me that.
Yeah.
I hate the dog like
Yeah. They used to
Love
call
Eugene
him
Pallette.
Froggy.
Yeah, I loved Eugene Pallette. I always see him at the end of a table having dinner. That's how I see him. If you ever saw, is it Heaven? The original Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah, the Lubitsch one.
Yeah, and anyway, yeah, go ahead.
He idolized Hitler.
No.
Where did you come up with this?
Yeah,
That's
I read about
that. Is my definition of an anti-Semite.
He idolized Hitler. He was fully expecting Hitler to win.
Really?
Wow. Eugene Pallette.
Eugene Pallette.
Friar
who's-
Tuck.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one
but-
of the
but-
most
well,
lovable
I'm
character
shocked that he was hired
actors.
by Lubitsch, but he was also hired by
Sturgis.
No, not the no. Fred Capra.
Oh, yeah,
He was
Capra.
hired by Capra a lot, and Capra was a right wing. I don't know whether he's bigoted. Very right wing. And Jeffrey Sweet, a wonderful playwright here in town, once wrote Capra a letter saying, how much he adored him. And Capra beautifully said, "I am not my films. Don't admire me so much. Admire my films."
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, I know.
I have a letter from Frank Capra
saying, "Get the fuck off my lawn." I'm tired of you.
I'll show it to you sometime.
I like most Italians. You, I don't.
Well, since you love the show so much, and you never miss an episode.
I got to say something else.
Go ahead.
Honest to God. You have the guy in here for the trivia. I'm the first question, okay? And I listened to your show.
Oh, yeah, you were the first question.
I'm the first question, and you go, best friend of George Clooney. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
you heard what credits I have. I'm Linda Blair Standard, and I get George Clooney as my credit. Honest to God.
So I'm going to take a safe bet then that George Clooney does not hate the Jews.
Oh, no, I've gotten him to the point where he hates the Jews. No, it's taken a lot of work, but no, he hates the Jews. That's like, I'm not a comedian and I don't write funny lines, but every once in a while I write a joke. And my only great joke is my wife was raised Episcopalian, but after marrying me, she converted to anti-Semitism. And that's... maybe it's not that great.
What did you think of our conversation with Lee Grant? That was a good one.
Oh, they're all great.
Yeah, and Ron Liebman we had in here, and Jessica Walter.
Ron Liebman
hates the Jews. Ron Liebman.
Who knew?
Yeah,
Ron Liebman, the most active tongue in the business. Would you like this all the time? I just remember him as Roy Cohn.
Oh yeah, sure.
But he
won the Tony.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the only role that I ever, everybody says, I'd love to play Willie Loman or King Lear or Stanley Kowalski, whatever it is, Roy Cohn. And I've told Tony Kushner that. That's the only role.
That's the one you want to play.
If anybody's doing it. But Ron Liebman in Where's Papa is as brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And then within a year or so in Slaughterhouse 5,
yeah.
Ron Liebman is the greatest.
He's got great range.
Great. And, of course, Jessica Walter worked all of her life. But, boy... those couple of years of Ron Liebman, and I've been lucky enough. I went and saw the play Rabbit Hole, and they were sitting right behind me, and it was one of those I've never met him before.
Yeah.
I hardly knew her, and they treated me like I was a peer.
Oh, they're the best.
Is Ron Liebman the all-American father who's a chicken hawk?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Right, you got it out of me.
That's the guy.
It's Ron Liebman. The Yid All-American father.
Was it Frank Gorshin?
Also not an All-American father.
Okay, Frank Gorshin once guested on Spin City. And
really?
Yeah,
wow.
I think it was Spin City. And Bill Lawrence, who helped create Spin City, tall, good-looking, 6'4", as waspy as they get. He might even love Hitler. Bill Lawrence, one of the great guys in the world, handsome, studly, funny, smart, from a very wealthy family, and yet still made his mark in TV with Scrubs and Spin City.
Terrific writer.
Great. Has a beautiful wife. And Frank Gorshin's putting the moves on her at age 65, 70, like she's going to do anything with a 70-year-old man, and upsetting her husband. Anyway, that made me laugh. That always made me laugh. But God bless him. You know what? If he didn't, he might never have gotten laid. I'm not saying
yes.
she did, but it's like there were. My dad had a guy my dad had a jewelry store, and the guy who ran sort of the storage and the mailing and everything was a black guy in Princeton, New Jersey, which is only filled with white people, and he would only date white people, and he was a handsome guy, but he would always have a different woman on his arm. And one time I said, Don, how do you do it? And he goes, man. You try to kiss a girl 10 times, 9 times you're going to get slapped. But oh boy, that 10th time. And that's what Frank Gorshin did. And God bless him.
Wow.
He hit on a friend of mine, too, was in her 30s at the time.
There you go.
At a Comic-Con, at an autograph signing.
How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, God bless him for trying.
She said if he had the Riddler suit in the car, she would have considered it.
Now,
she gave it some thought.
Now, what about the amount of pussy that Rich Little and Will Jordan got?
I don't remember.
Did you hear our interview with Rich?
I did with both of them.
Both of them.
Did I hear that? But did they?
Well, no, they were both impressionists.
Yeah, they did not get it.
He's putting you on.
Okay, thank God.
Yes.
Yes, I do not remember.
Yeah. Do you love Broadway Danny Rose as much as we do? Speaking of Will, I know you're a Woody Allen guy. You love Bananas.
I don't love Broadway Danny Rose.
Why is that?
As much as everybody. I'll tell you another movie that I don't love as much as you love. King of Comedy. I don't know why.
It's an upsetting film and a frustrating film.
Right.
Tough to watch, but rewarding.
Now, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember not loving it as much. Watching Broadway Danny Rose now in retrospect, and that guy, who's the Italian singer?
Nick Apollo Forte.
Yeah, a great performance and nominated for an award.
Yeah.
And God knows what would have happened if that would have been like that Quizila Wallace or somebody having won an Academy Award for Beasts of
the Southern Wild.
I mean, you meet somebody halfway, but who deserves the award is Woody Allen for knowing enough to cast this non-actor.
Yeah, he was
and
great.
Getting a great performance.
It was a revelation.
Yeah, but I don't love the movie, and it's silly. It's a little silly with the balloons, the hydrogen. It's silly. I love the beginning. I love seeing the faces more than what they're talking about. I just like to hear them talk. But no, I don't love it as much as you guys probably do.
Well, give the King of...
I really brought things down.
No, you did. Give the King of Comedy another look.
Yeah, I should. I really should.
We introduced it recently.
It's a very, very frustrating film.
It was a time when, like that movie based on I think, a Wharton novel that Martin Scorsese did.
Oh, The Age of Innocence.
Oh, God, do I hate that movie. I want to shoot myself when I watch that movie. Oh, my God. So there are some that he just... I just don't click with me, and yet he's the greatest there is. I mean, simply the greatest there is. And of course, Goodfellas, or even Casino I didn't love as much as when I watch it now. But you can't turn those off.
No.
Honest to God. It's
it's kind of like The Godfather. You have to leave it on.
And it's The Godfather. I will close my eyes when I'm flipping those channels because I can't. I'll go, oh, it's that scene. I'll just watch that scene. It's like going to bed with a computer on your chest.
And like Gil, you were a TCM programmer. You were a guest programmer.
Yeah, I was.
What did you pick? I know two of them. I know you picked Soldier.
We talked about this.
I don't think we did.
We talked about Soldier in the Rain. I think
we did.
We did.
Okay,
yeah, we did.
And you picked The Apartment.
Steve McQueen.
Bless you for that.
Yeah, and Gleason.
Yeah, it's horrible and great all at the same time. It sort of waves in and out. Gleason, brilliant. Tuesday Weld, great. Steve McQueen as bad a performance that he became a star after that movie. It's outrageous. He's downright bad. But there's that beautiful line when they're watching the fireworks, and and she goes, "That's the saddest thing in the world." And Jackie Gleason goes, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, they're so beautiful for such a short time, and then they die." And it's just sort of it's stuff I remember. And I was around 11 years old at the time, and I really wanted to be Jackie Gleason's best friend at the time. I wanted to be his little buddy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What else did you pick?
Which leads us to, did Jackie Gleason hate the Jews?
I doubt it.
Yeah?
I doubt. But I'm going to tell you something, and I thought of this.
I love these segues.
I'm thinking, and if you have any ideas, honest to God, now or after the show, I'm thinking of writing a one-man like cabaret act. Okay, and I'm thought about how I would start it, and when I was a kid, I loved Walt Disney so much, and all I wanted to do was be Kurt Russell and sit on Walt Disney's lap because there was a picture of Kurt Russell in his office sitting on Walt Disney, and I wanted to be Walt Disney's kid. And then I had World Book Encyclopedia in my room, and the only things I would look up were Walt Disney, Bing Crosby, and Bob Hope. They were the only showbiz people that were listed in the World Book Encyclopedia. I picked 3 of the most enormous anti-Semites.
There's something in that.
I was such a kid, and I'm just looking up Walt Disney, and he hated the Jews. Did I tell you the story about George? I must have, about the Christmas parade.
Don't think you did.
Oh, God, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Oh, my God. You know what? I think it's because I don't like to talk about George. All right. First of all, I'm going to tell you a story. My mom was at a retirement home before she left, and my aunt happened to be there too. And my aunt was president, and she arranged to have me come and talk to the people and explain about my career and showbiz and everything like that. So of course heartbeat. Of course I'll do it. I get there, the advertisement on the wall. Okay, the little posters, not posters, but the flyers that were up on the wall. There was a picture taken at George and Amal's wedding with all of the guys. You know, George has sort of a group of guys, and we've been friends for literally 25 years. I'm not kidding. It's been forever. It's longer. And we are very, very tight, very close, even to this day that we don't see each other. When we see each other, it's shorthand. We pick it up. Anyway, there's a picture of all the 9 guys in tuxedos standing. We look like that picture in The Godfather, the family, okay? It's all like that, and George is standing there, and Amal has her leg up a la Harpo Marx, and, sexy, and it's all of us. I get to the retirement home. There's that picture up there, and my face is circled with a red magic mark when it says, coming to the thing. That's how they advertised it. Not a picture of me, a picture of George Clooney's wedding, of which I'm minuscule. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
Even though you're live in person and we're on radio now, George Clooney's my biggest credit, on my resume. All right, so.
Forgive us for the quiz, by the way.
Okay, George, years and years ago, has split with his wife, and he's rooming with me. Okay, now I don't like to tell these stories, but this has been told before, so I'll tell this. George is staying at my apartment, okay, and we're then for a few months. Now he's staying there around Christmas time, and he says, can we have a Christmas tree? Now, I've been raised. The Christmas, my dad being a retailer, is the most beautiful time of the year. I believe it's a non-religious thing, but the one thing we never did was have a Christmas tree. That's just a little too on the edge. Now, I'm now married to a non-Jew, and of course I have a Christmas tree. But at the time, I was holding on to who I was. No Christmas tree. And George said, come on. And I go, I just can't. So we're at the farmer's market, and he's, in the corner where Trader Joe's is now, used to be a lot where they used to have all the Christmas trees and sell them there. He goes, come on. Because I said, George, I can't do it. Finally, one time, we're at the farmer's market. We're going to something around Thanksgiving. The trees are over there. We each have about 6 pumpkin pies in our hands because we're taking them to the party. And he goes, come on, just let me. And I said, George, I just can't do it. And he took each pie and he threw them at me in the parking lot. All 6. He just threw them at me. So he was furious. Cut to a few years later. I'm on Spin City, ABC, and owned by Disney. And Disney they tape in early December, but shown on Christmas morning, the Christmas parade. Caroline Ray and I, so George wakes up, turns on the TV, and there's me leading the parade going, it's a holly jolly Christmas. And he just says, oh, I can't believe it. He's calling all his friends. Look on ABC. And it's Disney. It's Christmas. I'm leading the parade. He was furious.
I love it.
And that just makes me laugh.
Now, you were in a movie that the Coen brothers made.
Yeah, sure.
A great movie.
Serious,
truly,
man.
truly. I'm going to have to bring things down because it's really a great movie.
Uncle Arthur, you're terrific.
Yeah, it's a wonderful movie. I'm good. Michael Stuhlbarg, brilliant. So many people. Amy Landecker, who's now on Transparent. She was in that. A lot of great people. And it's the Coen brothers, and it's philosophical. I always say it's a great date movie because it's all about whether you believe in God and what does this mean in much the way that the monolith in 2001. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. You could talk about what does it all mean. So you see the movie, and then you go out on a date, and you think, what is that? And you can sort of figure out what that person's made of.
I know there's one small
Dara would
part.
never have married.
You see the movie?
Yeah,
it's terrific.
Yeah, Serious Man.
Yeah, so there's one small part that.
There's one small part where a dentist is examining a guy who has Hebrew lettering on the inside of his teeth.
I know, right.
And it haunts him his entire life.
Right.
And he goes to a rabbi, and there's absolutely no answer for it.
Oh, I know.
So he just goes on with his life.
So what does it mean? I mean, the first 10 minutes, look, I was on Charlie Rose I was on Charlie Rose, and somebody said, why didn't you ask the Coen brothers? Like, do you ever ask them what it means or what it says? I go, I wouldn't dare. You don't dare ask them. They were. I burped again. Those first, that little thing, that first 10 minutes, with the Russian and everything. Yeah. I have a theory. And like everybody says, oh, it's like, they're there because later on it means that there's no God. Or blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, and I've never asked the Coens this is just me philosophizing. They started out to write a movie. They wrote 10 minutes, and they said, this is never going to work. We got to start all over. And then they wrote A Serious Man. But they said, you know what? Let's put this little 10-minute sketch at the beginning.
It's possible.
I think that's what they did. Then they gave the credits, and the movie started.
They create their own worlds.
They're just, and they're so.
How great is Miller's Crossing?
Such nice. They're all.
Yeah.
Except for the Tom Hanks movie, which has such a brilliant cast.
It was odd that they did a remake.
It was. They must love it, like we all love it.
Yeah.
And it just simply did not work.
Yeah.
But
had good performances.
Everything about it is stellar, and it just adds up to a flat souffle.
Yeah.
And
but each world they create, like the Hudsucker Proxy and Miller's Crossing,
and they're nothing like what they are guys with an imagination.
Yeah,
that's really what they are. They're just good guys who are funny and normal and down to earth, and they just get around to making things up, and they're just the best. Just the best. They're great, great people. Really great. You look so pensive and like I know I'm not used to talking sincerely, and you're not used to looking at me.
This has been Richard Kind.
I know.
I want to know about
watch me as Brock Peters in To Kill a Mockingbird. Good night, everybody.
Is there a Martin Short Brock Peters moment? Does that ring a bell? On
yes,
Clifford?
Of course. Did I say it on the show?
No, I found it in my research.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Because you're in Clifford.
Okay, Clifford, which is How I Know Charles Grodin.
Yeah,
the greatest.
Who we love.
Oh my God,
and
there's a great guy.
We do anything to get him here.
You know what? I'm going to call him, although he may laugh me off the phone. But and I'll tell you some stories about Chuck. But I'm doing Clifford, and Marty just makes me laugh. He knows how to make me laugh. So there's one scene where I have to get up and I have to cross. We're on an airplane and I have to get through some people's legs. And I'm just by his mouth as I'm crawling through. And he just goes like this. The audience can't see. Maybe you can hear. Did you hear that? Just that? It was right in my ear. Like a headphone would be, or, a little bud would be in your ear. And everybody's around you, but only you hear the bud. Well, there's a microphone, but only I hear that, okay? Every take, he would do that. I'm going, like that. You go, like that. And I would just laugh. And the director begged him, please don't make Richard laugh. And he wouldn't stop. He just kept doing it. He made me laugh so much. And then there's a scene because he plays a 10-year-old boy and he loves dinosaurs. Yeah. So he has a dinosaur, and with the crooked neck, he would I would be sleeping, and he would stick the head of the dinosaur up my nose. And I would go, like that. And then Gail cut. And he goes, not since Brock Peters has there been a nostril like that. And he just killed me. And I remember Chuck. I was in no scenes with him, and I really didn't know him. He's sitting there, and we're all sitting around. And somebody came by, a workman, and happened to have knocked off his toupee. And without missing a beat, he just put his hand on his head, reached down, picked up the toupee, put it back on, and kept talking.
Wow.
Did not even acknowledge
That's great.
The elephant in the room. And it was jaw-dropping. It was like that. And, and the toupee came off.
There's an actor we love.
Yeah, he's great. Now, I'm telling you, he had no idea who I was. Not on that movie, not on anything. I get this phone call. Rich, Chuck Grodin. Chuck, he goes, we're in a movie together. You were wonderful. And he does not know me. I'm telling you, he doesn't know me. He goes, but you came recommended, and we did this play that he wrote, and he writes a lot of plays. I'm going to tell you what the plot is, and you have to believe me. This is the plot of the play. Two guys, songwriters, who have written every song in the American Songbook and have a story so they go, raindrops keep falling on my head. How did you write that? And he goes, well, I was outside and I had just broken up with a girl and raindrops kept falling on my head. And I go, oh, and he goes, let's sing a little of that. And the audience had a packet of lyrics of every song that we mentioned and talked about. And we would sing the whole song. Okay, now this was a short play, but when you sing every song, it was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and there was no introduction. And I said, Chuck, you can't sing every song. It's going to go on forever. He goes, oh, no, they'll get angry if they can't sing the song. It went on for 2 hours and 40 minutes. 10 minutes into the performance, listen to me, how I go up on names. Who was the guy from 60 Minutes who passed away?
Mike Wallace?
No, the curmudgeon.
Oh, Andy Rooney.
Andy Rooney he's one of Charles Grodin's best friends. He's in the room, 10 minutes, and it's not going well. And he stands up, and he's an aged man, and he just walks across the room, and he just looks over as he goes, no. And he just walked out, and he walked straight out. It was hilarious. And he would come over, and what he would do is every story was it was an autobiography, but he wouldn't acknowledge that it was. But they were all stories. We would sit at the kitchen table for hours. We didn't even finish reading the play. We would read a part, and he goes, Rich, this really happened. And then he would tell the story.
I hear he's a great storyteller.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he would also talk about, he does things that are so truly humanitarian. I'm not kidding. Truly, getting people off. He makes it his mission to get those who are wrongly accused off of death row or out of jail. Spends
I know.
hours.
He's devoted a lot of his life to that.
Devoted, money, everything. And we'll be the first to tell you about it. However, he walks the walk, and you would never think this. And he just he'd go, I just came from the mayor's office, and you go, oh my God! And this is what
he's a man
does.
of principle,
truly,
and funny. I mean, and also,
great.
did you ever see the Paul Simon special that he directed? The Paul Bridge Over Troubled Water Simon special.
No,
I have a copy of it.
I probably have.
I'll get it to you. It's great.
Wow, I'd love it. Is he in it?
Yes. Yes, but it's typical Charles Grodin stuff where he just keeps interrupting and walking out and breaking up the takes, kind of like when he hosted SNL.
Oh,
yeah. He was a big pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah, and he's so not that at
Right.
all. He's just
the talk show character.
Lovely guy. And we would just sit there for hours, and he would talk, and he was just great. And so we got to know each other.
Hey, and say no if you want to.
Go ahead.
You want to blow me? No.
I'm thinking.
You wrote a letter to a guest that we were trying to get.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Can I read that letter? I mean, I just think it's a magnificent letter and shows how you really understood the show.
Yeah, but it's more about me, and it's not really about you if you read the letter. Read it. I don't care, but read it.
Yeah.
Don't read it on my time. Read it on one of your little half-hour things.
Oh, okay.
I got lots to say. I don't want to hear that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you truly, truly got the point of this.
Yeah.
Well,
that was great to read.
I'll tell you the thing, and I've said this, is that when you had Butch Patrick on,
oh, yeah.
I thought, you know what? Okay, Butch Patrick isn't Eddie Munster anymore. He certainly doesn't have the fame that Butch Patrick has on. Why the fuck are you going to mess around with his life? Let him live his life. And I thought you were going to be snarky and everything. The most wonderful interview. There was nothing underhanded or snarky or mean-spirited. You getting him here. I burped again. Getting Butch Patrick here was all because you wanted to shake hands with Butch Patrick.
Absolutely.
Or talk to Eddie Munster.
That's what this show's about.
But that's not who Butch Patrick is. That's who Butch Patrick was at 9 years old. You grow up, you do things, you evolve. But you had him here as Eddie Munster. But he's not Eddie Munster anymore, but you were appreciative of what he had done since.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a testament to the show, and it's the opposite of what I thought that you were after and why the show was created.
And it's funny
Very
because
kind of
a
you.
couple of the guests we've asked, I think have been scared
Of course.
There's
a little of that.
They were going to be the punchline of
course.
gag.
And, yes, which is what exactly.
We've had to do some reassuring,
right?
To get to people.
And I mean, look, your most famous thing is either the Aflac, but not really. is the Twin Towers or the
Aristocrats.
or the Aristocrats. So you are going after just how far can I push you? Just how deep is this button, that I have to push, and therefore. It's what we expect of you. That's what you're known for. Look, I remember. I told you the Ubangi lips.
Oh yes,
I remember.
With the restaurant trays.
Yes.
12:00 at night at the Improv.
Yeah, I remember
when I was a kid, and we're all there, and you were. I'm saying. I know I said it before. Defiant. You were defiant. Fuck you, audience. I'm doing this. And I don't care if you laugh because this is just funny. And eventually it will become funny to the world. You may not think, and nobody thought it was funny. I'm telling you, nobody. You were dreadful that night as far as the audience. But to me, you were great. You were the greatest.
I love the way he says he was a kid.
Yes. Yes.
I was. Well, we were all, oh my God.
Like meeting Buster Keaton.
Yeah, right.
No, but since Gilbert brought it up, we have to thank you for that. And you sent us an email and you said, I love the show and I'd love to help you get people on the show. And we were really grateful.
Well,
and some of those people I'd like to mention and ask you about.
Go ahead.
Like Emmett Walsh, for one.
Oh, Emmett. Oh, I got stories. Oh, Emmett.
Now, Emmett Walsh,
yes.
Does he hate the Jews?
Probably.
Oh, God.
But to be Emmett is one of the great guys of the world. First of all, a boxer.
We love him.
A boxer when he was young, a superior single-digit golfer, superior athlete. You wouldn't think it, but he was. Now, I'm doing a show in Vancouver, and it goes very long, and we have to stay in Vancouver on Christmas Eve to get the rest of the things. So we're going to go out that night for Christmas dinner at around 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. We get the whole cast together. I call Emmett. I go, are you coming? And he goes, is David Soul was on this show. He goes, is David Soul coming? And I go, yeah, the whole cast. He goes, I ain't going if David Soul is going. That guy's going to start talking. He'll get drunk. He'll never shut up. No, I'm staying. I mean, he just called it as it late.
Unsub,
yes. Yeah. Which was, did I talk about this?
No, I just dug it out.
Unsub was
Stephen Cannell.
Stephen Cannell. Stephen Cannell had a show, and this was the first of the procedural shows, but this is back in the 80s, okay? Written by the guys who wrote Wise Guy. If you remember the show Wise Guy.
Oh, yeah.
With
Ken Wall.
Kevin Spacey sort of got his start as a villain on that.
Right.
Jerry Lewis did like a couple of
That's
He
right.
did.
That's
Yes.
right. Very
Jesus,
good.
you're just great, Gilbert. You're just great. You are, but you're absolutely right.
You could take the rest of the week off, Gilbert.
Wow. Yes, he did. So Wise Guy, very adult show. Okay. Stephen Cannell has a meeting with Brandon Tartikoff about a show of FBI troop or whatever who are going to chase serial killers based on the book Manhunter, of which Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So
and Michael Mann made a good Manhunter movie,
so
too.
it's Manhunter, right. It's based on the book.
Right.
Thomas Harris, they're the FBI unit prior to Silence of the Lambs that are going to go chase these serial killers. Brandon Tartikoff, talking to Cannell, thinks he's going to get the A-Team. Okay, funny show. Oh, good, they're all going to go and chase serial killers. Well, the first episode was a guy named Paul Guilfoyle, who's now on a wonderful, you should get him.
I know the
Paul
name.
Paul Guilfoyle. You'll look at him and you'll go, oh, my God,
Okay.
yes. He's been on everything. Anyway, Paul Guilfoyle puts a razor blade in the heel of women's shoes. He's a cobbler. Puts a razor in the heel. They bend over in pain, and he stabs them in the back of the neck.
Oh, my
That's
God.
how he kills the women. This guy, Paul Guilfoyle, runs home to Grace Zabriskie. You remember Grace Zabriskie?
Sure.
She plays his mother. She's lying in a bathtub, spread eagle with her legs on the outside of the tub, soap all around, and he goes, Mom, I just, like that. And he sees his mother like that, and these demons come to him, okay? It's a horrific, bloody, gory show. It's horrible. And Brandon Tartikoff thinks he's getting the A-team. So... we do like 6 of the episodes. They go and they show the first episode to Brandon Tartikoff. Happens to be the day after they showed the Geraldo Rivera thing on witchcraft. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. I remember the controversy
big thing is our network's coming to this.
Yes.
Brandon Tartikoff is on NBC, is getting attacked by the media, and... they're showing him the first episode of he sees this kid running in to see his mother spread-eagled in the bathtub, and he stands up in the middle of the screening and he goes, "What the fuck are you trying to do? Bring down this network single-handedly?" And we knew that it was 11 and
That was the end of Unsub.
So, but there's a guy named Peter Roth who runs television for Warner Brothers. And he ran Cannell at the time. And every time I see him, he hugs me and he goes, "Rich, we were the first." Because we were the first to do a procedural.
And what an interesting cast.
Oh,
too.
It was David Soul, M. Emmett Walsh. It was from Adam 12. Who's the guy? McCord.
Kent McCord.
Kent McCord almost got in a fist fight with Emmett Walsh on the set. Now, Kent McCord is this beefy, handsome, chiseled guy, and Emmett thought he was a terrible actor, and he just goes, "Oh, Angela," that, and they almost started a fist fight, and Emmett had to apologize. I was with Emmett once. Where he invited me to go, a guy had invited me to go golfing, and Emmett refused to play with this guy because he was a slow player, and he goes, "If you think I'm going to play with this no talent hack," because he was an actor who never got work, and it said it in front of everybody, and you know who signed everybody in? Gidget's father, Don who?
Oh God, Don.
What's his name?
Oh God.
Okay.
It's not Don Gordon.
No, but
white hair, short cropped white hair.
So he signs everybody in.
Hell was his name?
And he called Emmett and he said, "Emmett, you've got to apologize."
Don Porter.
Don Porter, yes, Don Porter. So he says, "Emmett, you've got to call him. You've got to apologize to him." And he goes, "I ain't apologizing to that sycophantic, no talent like that." I mean, and he goes, "If you don't apologize, you're not allowed to play golf in this group anymore." And he goes, "Well, I'm not going to play golf." That's what kind of guy Emmett Walsh was.
We'd love to have him, so he'll take no shit from us.
I'll call Emmett. I'll get him.
He was on your list.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to.
He specialized in the good old boy who you knew was like the sleaziest, most underhanded.
Blood Simple.
But of course. But great in comedies like The Jerk too.
Oh,
yeah.
Just great in comedies.
He's a great guy. Great guy. Great actor.
That small scene in Raising Arizona.
He's one of those character actors.
Watch him in anything.
Yeah, and they always seem to raise the movie.
Absolutely,
up.
but that I like to think of myself as maybe somebody who can do that. Is that if the material's there, can raise it? But I'm delusional.
I got a bunch of weird stuff here. You want to talk about being directed by Robert Conrad early in your career?
Yeah. Did I not tell you that one?
No.
I sure did. I didn't.
You did not. I found it.
God, I tell these stories. I'm sorry, you're going to hear somewhere. Okay. Bob Conrad is directing a thing called Two Fathers Justice with George Hamilton.
Oh, love him too.
Okay. Why don't you get him?
We're working on it.
George Hamilton, very smart. Much smarter than you'd think.
Perfect guest for us.
Yeah.
Working on it.
He knew them all. I mean, best friends with Elizabeth Taylor. He was her escort. He's a brilliant guy, Philadelphia guy. Oh, very smart.
Also funny.
Yeah, and very, very funny.
Yeah.
So they're doing it. I get cast as this lawyer. Okay. Now, Sunday morning, I'm working at Second City at the time. It's my first movie. There is a restaurant way, I guess it must be west because the ocean, the lake is east. So it must be way west in some suburb, takes an hour to get to. But a friend of his has a restaurant out there. We're going to have a meet and greet and read the script. Okay, it's Sunday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. Why are you going to have it at 10 o'clock in the morning? We get there. There's TV sets all around because a WGN at that time
Oh, out of Chicago, yeah.
Showed repeats of the Wild Wild West.
Love it.
Can you imagine? So we're eating breakfast while Wild Wild West is, because there wasn't tape at that time, it was showing repeats of the show. He then gives a talk, and he says, first of all, you got to move that paper because I see my face, and I can't look at my face.
His image is distracting
It's my
him.
headshot, and I can't look at it. So, because I keep wondering, every time I see him, I go, really? You chose acting as a profession? So you want your face on film? All right, so he goes, all right, when you show up on this set, I don't want to see any scripts. I want every line memorized, backwards and forwards. I don't want you holding us up because you don't know your lines. Well, I come in, and I'm the lawyer, and I got a chunk of, Your Honor, this is blah, 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 blah. And so I come in, we do a rehearsal, and blah, 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 it just comes out of my mouth. And he looks at George Hamilton and goes, wow, that kid's great. He knows his lines. And so that's what it was. But I mean, it was really one of those, you better come in. And then I remember Bern Piven. Do you remember Bern Piven?
Is he Jeremy Piven's dad?
Happens to be Jeremy Piven, a great actor, great
Out of Chicago?
character. Yes,
Yeah.
He was also Uncle Ben in all the Uncle Ben things. And he's a great guy, but he tended to act on film like he was on stage. He was huge.
I see.
And you're out of order and whatever. Okay.
Kind of like what Bierko says about your performances.
Yes, right. Yeah, the only thing. So he just gives the most over-the-top reading of lines, and they yell cut, and Bob Cameron goes, Jesus, that guy is great, like that. And it's what I remember.
He's still around, Robert Conrad.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I know. I wonder.
Us too.
I do.
There's
a
a lot of people like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'd love
Bob
to talk
Conrad.
to them, and we're wondering
I
what
know.
kind of shape they're in.
He was very nice. Very nice. Huge anti-Semite.
You're just doing a callback.
Yes,
Now-
I kid. Yes, go
Now,
ahead.
you must have seen the horrible movie version of Wild Wild West.
I actually never did. But M. Emmett Walsh is the conductor.
He
Yes,
is.
yes.
There you go.
No, I heard it was so bad.
There's a
And
connection.
I loved, now that I think of it, when I was a kid, I never watched our shows. I never did. The only hour show that I ever watched was Marcus Welby.
Interesting.
But I watched Wild Wild West, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Star Trek. I've never seen Bonanza. I've never seen any of those Outer Limits. But that's not really an hour show. That's just a show that happened to be an hour.
Well, I had queued up these 60s TV theme songs to try
Yeah,
to
I hope I'm good.
to try to stump you.
Yes.
Do you want to try it, or you want to just pass?
No,
you want to just pass
I don't
up on
know.
it?
I mean, you can ask me trivia, but
Okay.
will I know theme songs?
Okay.
I don't know. I might.
Frankie, you want to try a few on this man? And
Yeah,
if
but what if
it doesn't
don't-
work, we'll shit can
But
it.
you'll know it, won't you? You'll know them
Gil,
all.
you can try.
Yes,
You can compete
yes.
You'll
against
sing
each
along
other.
with them even if they don't have lyrics.
Yes.
None of these have lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Here's the first one.
Lost in Space.
No. Was it?
One Step Beyond?
No, it was a daytime show. There's a
Oh,
Shadows.
Dark
Dark
Shadows.
Shadows.
Yeah,
Yes.
you both
yes.
got it at the same
Dark
time.
Shadows.
Very
Yeah.
good.
All right, Dark
Very
Shadows.
good. Very good.
Yeah,
See,
Dark Shadows. No, that's weird. That was a soap opera.
Yeah.
But I didn't like soap operas, and everybody was watching it at the time, so I started watching it, and I just said, no, not for me. Yeah.
Gil loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you like the Barnabas.
Yeah, I love the fact that it had monster. Anything with monsters, I love.
I know, but
It
only
was-
yeah, go ahead.
It was like, a horrible.
It looked like it was made for 8
low-budget.
cents.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, a day for
but,
night
but,
shooting.
but we couldn't know
No,
that at the
not
time.
at the time.
I mean,
so,
I
so
remember
that washed over us.
There
Not at the
was
time.
one time watching it, and there was a guy making a speech, and a fly
Oh, that's
buzzing around his face, and he's like trying to blow the fly
Hilarious.
away, like going.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
Well, you see, you liked monsters. I did not. I got scared. And I remember Eddie Milner had a birthday party, okay? And they had one of those projectors, the reel-to-reel things.
Yeah, sure.
And they had a Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee a movie that they were showing. And I had to watch it because my peers were around. I remember shitting my pants.
How interesting.
I was so
Wow.
scared. And then I remember the movie that got me out of it was a movie called The Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
I know the title.
Okay. Now, it wasn't a horror movie, but everybody was going to see that, and I said, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I thought it was a monster movie, and my mother, like, just in essence said, don't be so gay. And forced me to go to the movie, and I liked it more than anybody else.
Girl with the Crystal Plumage.
Yeah, Bird with the, which wasn't a horror movie, and then I've liked horror movies ever since.
Let's try another one.
Okay.
See what you guys do with this one. Frankie?
Here's round 2.
See who gets it first. John Williams.
Is this Lost in Space?
No.
Battlestar Galactica?
Gil? It's a hard
no.
one. It's Land of the Giants.
Oh, my
An Irwin Allen show.
Oh, my God.
You remember it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. And you know what? Now, here I sound,
BTV
what a
runs it.
liar I am. I'm hearing that. I was going to say Time Tunnel, which is another hour show.
yeah.
You were right
Friday,
in the ballpark.
Friday, it's 8 or 9 o'clock. And did I tell you the story about because of Time Tunnel? Who's the woman on Time Tunnel? She was Miss America.
Lee Merriweather?
Lee Merriweather.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I tell you this
You
story?
told us that one.
Okay, then
the one with Frank Letter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that you didn't
stumped
know.
me.
Yeah,
and
you
then
didn't
you
know
gave me
Frank
grief.
Letter.
Which,
Right.
which also reminds us we have to get James Darren on the show.
Yeah, well, James Darren said he'd do it. We just have to close
James
on that
Darren
one.
would be
Great, perfect for us.
I
'cause he
wonder
had a
why
singing
he
career.
gave up. I mean, did showbiz, did movies give him up, or did he just not do it anymore? I mean, he was, a couple of hit wonders for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But was not bad,
No.
I suppose.
We met him at the Chiller in Jersey, and he said he'd do it. Frankie, what about number 3? While these guys are on a roll.
Round 3.
I think I got a comedy.
Okay, hold
here
on.
somewhere.
Before you start. Okay, hold on. No, can you sing the theme song to My Favorite Martian?
No.
Wait a minute.
I don't know why, but it came into my head one time, and I said,
There were no lyrics.
No. Okay,
That's
I don't
it.
know why, but it was the hardest. I started singing it one day. I started going, and I don't know where it
Man,
came
I
from.
couldn't pull that one out.
And I had to really memorize
That's good
it in
shit.
my head.
That's good shit.
Okay, go ahead,
I might have a sitcom or two in here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, I know this. Ah, Jesus.
Ooh. Is it? It's not.
Oh.
God.
Does it sound familiar?
Yes.
Like a Western?
No, I know it.
It's not a Western. It's a
Not a
sitcom.
Western.
No, I know it.
It's a romantic comedy.
God.
Give me the initials.
It was based on a movie with Rex Harrison.
Oh, Ghost of Mrs. Muir.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Charles Nelson Riley.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was Rita
yes.
Shaw.
And Rita Shaw.
Rita Shaw was
Very
in that.
good.
Yeah.
And Edward Mulhare.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember?
Oh,
Edward
yes.
Mulhare.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he died, Edward Moore.
Yeah, he was a funny guy.
Was he a funny guy?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
He hated the Jews.
Hated the Jews.
Yeah.
Fucking anti-Semite from the word go.
I don't know that he was funny.
But the hating the
But
Jews.
hating the Jews,
Yes.
we're laying our life on it.
I think I got 3 more. Frankie,
Okay,
go through them
okay.
quick.
I Spy.
Ah, very good, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
No wasting
Never
time.
watched it.
I always
Never watched it.
remember it was a split screen.
Yep.
And there'd be action on
Right.
the bottom part, and on the top would be Robert Culp's eyes reacting.
Very good.
You know,
Really?
smiling, getting scared.
Produced
All
by,
I remember is them playing tennis. I've never seen the show.
Produced by?
Sheldon
Sheldon
Leonard.
Leonard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they really came to the rescue of Bill Cosby and blacks, because Robert Culp said, "I won't do it," and
Yep.
Sheldon Leonard, certainly probably a commie or a red, Sheldon Leonard.
And,
I'm just throwing that out, but probably.
Probably.
and you know,
Yeah.
Culp.
Well,
who-
ask Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
Culp, who was not an experienced actor back then, I think was learning how to act from Culp.
you mean Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby. I mean.
Yes, you're probably
Bill
right.
Cosby seemed like he was learning to act from Robert Culp because he seemed to imitate
That's
Robert
interesting.
Culp's
Very
delivery.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet Bill Cosby was the one who won the Emmy.
Yeah.
That's interesting,
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, Frankie.
And Robert Culp, I remember he was in One Step Beyond or Outer Limits.
Oh, he's in The Demon with the Glass Hand. Yeah,
Yes.
we talked about
and
that.
he's
one.
also in one where he has to pretend to be an alien who's taking over the world. And
Was that Outer Limits?
yeah, I think it was the Outer Limits. And
Oh.
to bring all the Earthlings together.
We'll throw that out to our
Because it's-
listeners.
yeah.
See if anybody knows
Yeah,
that.
by the way, that is the hilarious thing is when I'm listening and you say something that's wrong
Yeah.
or you say, oh, this is this, and I go, no, like I'm talking to you
Yeah,
guys.
yes.
And then I go, don't worry, there are legions of people who
yeah.
are gonna take care of this.
Oh,
they correct
we-
us fast.
We get one letter wrong in a name.
It's the truth.
And I
They
mean,
come at us.
I know. And the sad thing is, I mean, I'm that idiot who's along with them. And I do want, and because I have, Dara, and your email, and yours, Frank, I want to email you, and I just go, just don't, Richard. You're not that important. Everybody else is writing to the website. You don't have to be special and write to them
You can
personally.
write to us anytime.
But I know, but I don't. I just.
And I heard Robert Culp was an old monster movie fan.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, you can't ask him.
No.
Okay, you say yes, he is. I'm going to say no, he isn't.
But he hated the Jews.
Well,
Seems to be that seems to be a motif.
Please.
I think there's two more.
Who doesn't?
Frankie?
I know this. Da-dum. Yeah, there's the farmer's daughter?
No. I believe it was the same studio that was making I Spy, Desilu. There's a hint.
It was a Desilu show?
In fact, Desi created the show.
Oh,
Well, it can't be the one about with Robert Stack. No.
It's a sitcom.
God, I know it.
yeah.
I know it.
Roger C. Carmel,
Oh, the mothers-in-law?
the mothers-in-law.
Oh,
Well, I did
wow.
not miss one of those.
There you go.
I wanted to be everybody on that show.
Eve Arden, Kay
I
Ballard.
wanted to be Eve Arden. I wanted to be Cave Ballard. I wanted to be Roger C. Carmel.
'cause-
and Herb, what was
Herbert
it?
Rudley.
Herb Rudley.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they were my kind of actors.
Because I remember the
And Jerry somebody as
Jerry Fogel?
yes, I think you're right, as the son-in-law.
Yeah.
I remember the Untouchables. The theme was dun 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 dun. Dun.
Wasn't that a Desilu show, too?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Untouchables.
Who played Al Capone?
Oh God!
One of my favorite names in the world.
Oh,
It comes
fuck.
off the tongue very easily.
Give us initials.
Oh,
N.P. The name will not come to you easily.
oh!
It's not
fuck.
Nehemiah Persoff.
It is. I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's
God.
not.
No,
No,
it's not.
No.
No.
He would have
It's-
been
But
great.
just to say his name because you gave me NP.
It's not Nehemiah Persoff. It's another guy with a very pointy nose. God! Oh! I'm wrong.
God, this is going to kill me when
All right,
you say
all right,
it.
we'll
Me
go
too.
on to another song. I'll look it up.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you something about the Untouchables.
Yes.
I was having a bike race when I was about 5 or 6 years old down the streets of Trenton, New Jersey, Abernathy Drive, and my wheel on my bike turned into Bruce Stearns. Okay? Bruce fell on the grass. I fell on the sidewalk. I broke my nose. I have a deviated septum because of it. I was in pain. I was a kid. It was the latest I ever stayed up. Untouchables was on at 10 o'clock at night, and I watched it. Okay? It was on because I was in pain, and I got to stay up. It happened to be a two-parter. So the cliffhanger was the bad guy was winning. What's going to happen next week? Well, I never saw part 2. So to me, Al Capone won because I never saw the next part. And I'm telling you, I was 5 or 6. It haunts me to this day. And when you think of black and white and gangsters, and I'm not used to watching this, to this day, I keep thinking of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just a little psychological.
And it's so
insight.
funny. That could never happen now. Now you watch your show whenever you feel like
That's
it.
the truth, yeah. But I couldn't stay. I couldn't watch part
Yeah.
2. Plus, I might have been alone at the time watching. I don't
Yeah.
think I was, but yeah, I was. I watched The Untouchables, and seeing gangsters and violence.
Oh, yeah.
and at the break, the bad guys were winning, and it just terrified me. Terrified me.
Let's
I
see. So Would his first name have been Nathan?
No. Nehemiah Persoff is who I'm thinking of, but that's not the guy.
Oh.
And you'll know who the guy is.
I'm looking here.
He sort of looks like that guy.
I see
I
his
got
face.
it.
Who is
I got it.
What's
Yeah,
his
it
name?
is NB. He was in the famous Twilight Zone episode with George Takei, where he was the angry war veteran.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got a
and
pointy, and he always looks sort of down.
Neville Brand.
Neville Brand.
Neville
Thank you.
Brand.
Neville Brand.
Oh,
Very
God.
good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
You want to take a shot at these last two? Or is
Okay,
there?
yeah.
Go ahead,
Is this
Frank.
fun at all?
Yeah.
Guys at home, is this fun?
Oh, I'm
I don't
having
know.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Plus, there's prompting stories from you guys.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Frank. All eyes on Richard for this one.
Well,
This
it's Lost in
isn't
Space.
Lost in Space. That's what I thought.
But you mentioned it, and we've been talking about it.
Time tunnel.
Yeah, it is the time tunnel.
Oh,
Well, they're also Irwin Allen.
was this Williams too?
I think so.
Oh,
He
Isn't it-
had
he has a
that
sound. Yeah.
that I love John Williams composition.
We do.
By
We
the
love
way,
them.
do you know the little thing about John Williams? You know, he started out as a studio pianist. You know
A
that,
studio penis?
otherwise known as a porn star, a studio pianist.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What is this theme song? Da 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 la da da da. Do you know what that theme song is?
It sounds familiar.
It's the theme to Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh,
Wow.
The piano, dun 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 dun. That was John Williams
Nice.
playing that.
What, was it you that was saying that he did some old Corman movies in the early days? Did he? John Williams?
No, I don't know about John Williams. He probably
Was it Henry
did.
Mancini?
Henry
Henry Mancini. I got him mixed
He
up.
did a lot of like these low budget science fiction films.
did, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who sang his last soundtrack? His last composition for anything? Can you name one artist who sang?
Mancini?
Yeah, Mancini's last score.
Gosh, I really should know this.
You do know him because his name has been mentioned in this room.
Last score. You got a year?
No, but I'll know it. It was before he died. Just before
Keith
he died.
Brazel.
Richard Kind.
Richard Kind.
He scored a movie called Tom and Jerry the Movie.
Oh, wow.
And I was the only voice that Tom and a young actress named Dana Hill, remember Dana
Sure,
Hill?
she was in the
She was-
Vacation
She was, yes.
movie,
She was
first one.
Jerry, and I was Tom the cat. The only time that Tom and Jerry ever talked, I'm the voice of Tom, she was the voice of Jerry, and Henry Mancini did the score, and I sang, "We two were two of a kind, much of a mind. We really go together.
What an honor.
Peaches and cream. Boy, what a dream. You'll never, I don't know what the hell it is.
Well,
I remember doing a Phil Collins special.
Yeah.
And I
Really?
You've been holding out
that
on me.
true?
Yeah.
Phil
Phil
Collins?
Collins? You did
Yeah,
it, Phil Collins?
I was on it with Vanessa Williams. We played his agents. and
a fever dream.
and I remember being on the set and Henry Mancini stopped by.
Wow.
And Phil Collins grabbed his son and he said, "I just want you to say hello to Henry Mancini.
Yeah.
I want
I
you to
believe that.
shake
That's a
hands."
cool
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I often stop. I often take my kids over, and I will say, "You're meeting this person now. Please say hello. Later on, the day will come when you will want to know that. Oh, I've met that person."
Yeah.
I was nominated for a Tony. I took my daughter to the thing. She's sitting next to. He's such a wonderful guy. Who's the guy who played Spock in the most recent Star Trek?
Oh,
Tell me.
oh
because
God,
I'm-
we've had him on the show.
No.
No. On my other show.
Young guy.
Yes,
just a
Quinto,
great-
Zachary Quinto.
There's no nicer guy. Great actor. Wonderful in Glass Man. He's a great actor. And she's sitting next to him for the whole show. And she doesn't know who the hell he is. She was too young. And then finally she sees Star Trek. And I go, "That's who you sat next to at the Tony." Then why didn't you tell me at the time? She met Cicely Tyson. She met Bernadette Peters.
Wow.
Met all these people who I know or something, And Michael, what do you call it, from Seinfeld?
Richards.
Yeah, Michael Richards. So they met Tom Stoppard. She's not going to know them now, but I say, remember this moment. So I met. Okay, but I wanted to tell you a story about Tom and Jerry at the reading. Okay, Tom and Jerry. I gotta have ADD so bad. And it's one of the great guys.
The club.
Do you know? And I'm not going to remember his name, and he's such a Dan. Do you know Kathy and Jimmy's husband, Dan?
From the Dan Band?
From the Dan Band.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dan Finnerty.
Yeah, great. There's a
he's
nice
talented
man.
guy.
And you'll start a story, and then you get interrupted or something that. He will not leave a conversation until all the stories are wrapped up.
I love that.
Isn't that fantastic?
You're bringing me back to L.A. He used to play at Largo.
Yeah,
he used to play with the Dan Band.
He'll play here. He'll play down on 14th.
Talented guy.
23rd. And a great guy. Very, very funny. Good actor, too. They're both of them. They're great. Anyway, we're having the read-through, a meet and a read-through of Tom and Jerry, the movie. So you got Rip Taylor. How about Rip Taylor?
Working on him.
Yes.
Rip Taylor.
Working on him. He's in progress.
Henry Gibson. And Howie Morris. Okay. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So I'm in this room and I'm looking at all these people and everything, and then I look over and sitting on the couch is Howie Morris, and I look over, and by chance he catches that I've caught him, and he catches my eye, and from across the room he screams, "I'm going to get away from the microphone." He goes, "You, and I go, "Me?" He goes, "You, come here," and I walk across the room. He goes, "Sit down." And I sit down, and he goes, "Ask me anything you want."
You both got called out across the crowded room by Howard Morris.
I was at
you
an
too?
autograph signing thing, which Frank drove me to.
Yeah, back in '96.
And I'm walking along, and I didn't see him or anything. I walk by a table, and someone screams out, "It's that loudmouth fucking Jew."
Oh, great.
And I turn around, it's Howard Morris.
Do you often answer to that, by the way? Do you often turn when you hear someone randomly shout
It
that?
was on his name tag.
Yeah.
An episode you haven't heard yet, speaking of Howard Morris, we had Mr. Reiner here.
You did.
For,
There's a nice
for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And,
he's
he's
a
terrific.
good. That's somebody who I wanted to be because of the Smothers Brothers show. I thought he was the best guest on the Smothers Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, he was on the
Interesting.
Smothers Brothers show about 3 times. And not because because I was too young to know what a creator of a show was. He was, Carl Reiner, the writer. Who the hell cares? And I didn't know Show of Shows by then. And he, but he was a guest on the Smothers Brothers, and he was great. And that's how I really remember. And I've gotten very lucky to meet him a few times.
Terrific guest.
Yeah.
For us.
But the thing about, and what do you think I asked Howie Morris
What
about?
did you ask him?
What do you think?
Uncle Goopy.
Uncle Goopy.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing I'd ask.
Exactly. I go, did you know at the time just how great? And I know every one of your listeners who's knows the This Is Your Story sketch.
Yeah.
But if anybody's listening who has not seen that sketch,
great.
is the finest. And yet they cut for commercial, and then they come back with the
Oh, no.
and it's just not.
Well, it must be
as
available
good.
on
No,
DVD.
no. What I'm saying is when your Show of Shows cut the commercial, and they come back and they have, it's not as good as the brilliance of the first part. They don't sustain it because it gets broken up a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's but boy, that thing. Even the guy when he puts his head down and sits, he faints on the
Fantastic.
guy. The guy next to him is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's, who the hell? He's nobody. He's a guy who happened to be sitting there. I don't think he's an actor.
Well, Carl told us it just ran long. He had no idea that Sid was going to run through the audience like that.
He didn't?
No, and that they were going to chase him and tackle him.
And that Sid would be beating the guy
the
with
guy.
his coat.
and
his
he's
coat.
the strongest guy in
Right.
the world,
That's
according
right.
to Mel Brooks.
That's right.
So, oh my gosh.
That's right.
And I remember Howard Morris was Jerry Lewis's father in The Nutty Professor.
Very good.
Brilliant,
He's
brilliant.
hysterical.
Brilliant.
Very good. And
but
great
he
on-
also directed a great movie that not a lot of people know. Do you guys know?
Who's
That's correct.
minding
Yes. Who's minding the mint?
The mint.
Who's minding the mint? Not who's minding the
No,
store.
right. I got
Yes,
confused.
yes.
Who's minding the mint?
Jim
Who's
Hutton.
minding the store was Jerry.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's minding the mint?
It also has Joey Bishop.
It
Right.
might have
Milton
the great,
Berle.
and the great anti-Semite. I think Walter Brennan might be.
I think so.
I think he might be.
I think so.
The great anti-Semite,
Vic
Walter
DeBuono
Brennan.
and Jamie Farr is in
Really?
it.
Yeah. We have Jamie coming up too, by the way.
Great,
yeah.
great.
Do
A
you,
lovely guy.
Now that you started singing, do you guys?
Oh,
do you-
that's another thing.
Yeah.
Carl Reiner, great singer.
yeah, he sang an aria for us.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he
He
wanted to
did.
be. He loved Caruso as a kid, and he wanted to be. His original ambition was to be an opera
Was
singer.
to be a singer.
Yeah. Well, when he was a little kid, he wanted to grow up to be an Irish tenor.
Wow.
But he was
The tenor, I
disabused of
believe,
that
but,
notion.
Wow. Well, that's
Yeah.
like Paul Reiser. You ever hear Paul Reiser play the piano?
No.
He went to school to be
Damn.
a pianist.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. He's
a big, hairy
yeah,
pianist. He wanted to be a throbbing pianist.
Did you ever see Enter Laughing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you know why?
Rainy Santoni.
Yes, it is. Now, I did the musical version of that, which was originally called So Long 149th Street or something like that. And then they revived it recently as Enter Laughing, the musical. But do you know why David Kolowitz is the name of the kid and not Carl Reiner
I don't.
in the book? Is because his mother couldn't read.
Oh, yes, he told us that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, well, then I won't
Yeah.
give it away. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he
it's-
told
I'm
us
not
that.
gonna-
He told us that story.
Lovely of you to remember that.
Yeah.
You have a glazed look on your face.
Jerry Lewis.
You were just thinking about the comic at the time. Which is for,
Jerry Lewis is a story in one of Carl's books that Jerry Lewis called him and said he wanted to play David in Enter Laughing, but he was like 37 at the time.
well, that's
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys want to attempt something before we go out? We know you have to go to
Wait,
dinner.
I don't have to anything. Weren't you going to name some people and talk?
Oh, you want to do that? We could
yeah,
do that
I don't
too.
want to. Don't sing.
You don't want to sing?
Well, I would like.
Which you
I'd like
played-
to hear you sing.
You played Nathan Detroit, so
I did. Well, I played. Oh no, I was in the New York City Opera.
yes.
So
I knew that
mean,
too.
Yeah, but I'm not going to dare sing because I don't want to sing.
You like when he sings on the show?
Oh my God, I love it.
You're in the minority.
I mean, I do. I mean, but like Charles Grodin, he thinks that we're going to get angry that he sings the whole song.
Right.
I'll take half the song.
Right.
You know, but he sings the whole song. And
Yeah.
I listen.
The next time you come back,
Yeah.
we'll make you sing. Well, so we'll just throw some names at you. And these were I was reading some
By
of
the way,
these.
did you ever hear Craig Bierko sing?
Oh, well, I saw him live.
Craig.
I saw him
Craig
in the
is
Music
a
Man.
Phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I did not see him in Guys and Dolls,
Okay.
regrettably, but I saw him in the Music Man.
Okay, he was good in Guys and Dolls.
Yeah, I would.
hear. I didn't see him.
Love to have
okay.
seen that.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Oliver Platt, another person you should have on the show.
Yeah, another Nathan
yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Would he
Yeah.
do it?
I don't know. Are you kidding me? I can't speak for him.
How about Dennis Farina, who you worked with a bunch of times?
I did work with Dennis. There is no greater guy, bar none, than Dennis Farina. I will tell you the kind of guy Dennis Farina is. You simply could not pay for anything. He was so grateful to have the paychecks he had, to know that he was in a place in his world that he was just so grateful. I'd go golfing with him in Vegas. No way I could pay. I once went in and tried, because he picked up tried to pay for both of us one time, and when he found out, he got angry and had it ripped up and paid for it. We once went out to dinner with, I was doing this movie with him and the girl from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Cheryl Hines.
Cheryl Hines.
And so we're having dinner, and we invite Dennis. He can't make it, so he's going to come and join us for drinks afterwards. He does. Picks up our dinner.
Wow.
He was unbelievable.
Just like you, Gil.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. He's
That's
just
how
like you.
I'm known for.
Well, yeah, that's like, I
He's
mean,
known for that.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, this is a hilarious story.
Okay.
This is hilarious. The movie that we did together had a gimmick that sounds good, but it's not good, and it's actually bad. It turned out to be a little boring, but it sounds good. It's a movie about poker and about a poker tournament. There's 6 players at the end.
The Grand.
The Grand. They make it to the last table. What they did was filmed the 6 of us playing poker like it was a real tournament. It was not written into the script who would win. So we filmed before that scene was shot, us winning and us losing, okay, up in our rooms, that we were the winners or that we were the losers. But the real tournament took place. Woody Harrelson, Cheryl, Dennis, me, whoever, 6 people, and they filmed the whole thing. And it takes hours to play a tournament. We started, let's say, at 6:30. At 8 o'clock, I have a hand that's pretty good. I have pocket jacks, okay? Pretty good hand to go in on. I make a bet. Dennis raises with, I think he had 4-9, which is in poker, in Hold'em, a terrible hand, not even suited, not even of the same. It's a terrible. I have pocket jacks. He pushes all, or I made a bet. He pushes all in. Well, I call. Well, I won the hand, forgive the pun, handily. He leaves the scene. I go to him. After the movie's wrapped, okay, he's gone. I say, what the hell were you doing with the 4-9? He goes, I'm not going to win that tournament. I had a date waiting for me over at some hotel. This is cinema history. Okay, he is on celluloid for eternity, and he had a date with some dancer.
Hilarious.
And he was a former cop.
He was a cop in Chicago.
Sure.
And I saw him in a play called Streamers. He and Dennis Farina. They did a play at, I want to say, Wisdom Bridge or Goodman or something. And it was a famous production, both of them.
Dennis Farina and somebody.
And Dennis Farina and Dennis Franz.
Oh, Dennis Franz.
And
yeah,
Dennis
you said
Franz.
Dennis Farina.
And I'm sorry, Dennis Franz.
Yeah.
And I believe that they were both in it, and they were both Chicago cops,
right?
Who went on to great fame. There was none better than Dennis Farina. Knew he was going to die. They could have kept him alive. He denied everything and said, "I will die like a man," like Jimmy Cagney did in Dangerous. He went off a hero.
Wow.
He was a great man, a guy's guy. Didn't stand for bullshit. He was a great guy. God,
and
he was great.
how wonderful is he in Midnight Run? Jimmy Serrano.
Oh yes, stick a pencil in your neck. He was a great man, and was in luck with me as well.
Yes. What about Alan Arkin?
He was a good guy. I actually turned down playing at Pebble Beach in the golf tournament because I was going to work with Alan Arkin, and he was really great. And the movie was no good. We knew it was no good. He knew it was no good. I never should have taken it because I then worked with him later in Argo.
Right.
And he actually, I don't think I'm telling this tale out of school. His doctor did not let him act anymore because he would get so nervous and have such angst about memorizing the lines that it would do something to him, and so it might raise his blood pressure or something as he got older. Now he's a fantastic actor,
the best,
but he'd be anxious about memorizing the lines, and his doctor for a while said, you can't act anymore because it's bad for your health, not because of the acting, but because of the memorizing lines. But everything he says, he's one of those guys, he can't tell a lie. He tells the truth, and a great joke teller. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. I don't think he did the movie, but he calls me up. Now, I don't know him at all, but I get a message on my machine. Rich, this is Alan Arkin. Listen, can you give me a call because I sound more like Jackie Mason.
No, it's not bad.
But can you give me a call because I'm going to be working with a friend of yours, and it was with somebody you've worked with, and I just want to know about. Okay. Going, Jesus, I worked with somebody. So I'm thinking, well, I just did a movie called Obvious Child. Maybe that director, young woman, how is she? Okay, like that. Now, I'm going to continue the story with, I was at Sundance, and I heard Kevin Pollak do his stand-up acting. He tells a story about calling Alan Arkin. You've heard the stories, and he does a perfect Alan Arkin. And he actually tells the story of when he called up Alan Arkin as Alan Arkin and said, remember to pick up a bread, and called Paul Reiser to have lunch. So he does a perfect Alan Arkin. But I look at the thing, and the phone number is in Connecticut, which is where he lives and everything. So I call him back. I go, Alan, it's Richard Kind. Did you want to call me? And he goes, yeah, Richard, I'm going to be working with somebody. I want to know what you think of him. And I go, I can't think of who it could be. Take a guess. Of all the people in the world, he's calling me to ask about another actor. Me. Now, Alan Arkin knows everybody or has access to everybody in the world. Who do you think the actor was?
Gil?
No, this one?
I couldn't imagine.
No guess.
Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Not me. Dustin Hoffman. Well,
You would think their paths had crossed somewhere.
or he would. But I didn't really work with him. I worked on the show called Luck.
Right.
And I acted not in the same room, but at the same racetrack. I never had any scenes with Dustin, but he's calling me.
Wild.
Who the hell am I
Wild.
in the pantheon of actors in Hollywood that he should call me for my opinion? And I said what I said. I said, well, you're going to do a lot of takes, but everybody knows he does a lot of takes. He's great, but Alan, you're Alan Arkin. He loves you. He'll have to love you. And I said, and you're going to swap jokes. And he tells a good joke, but you tell a better joke. That's what I told him.
Another dream guest for this show, Alan Arkin. Tall order. We'll try.
Yeah,
we'll try.
But I'll tell you something. I wonder how much he'll want to talk about showbiz versus talking about, philosophies and things. He's a lovely. Nah, he'll tell jokes. He's a lovely guy. God, he's a great guy.
It's interesting that three of the top guys on our get list, Charles Grodin, Alan Arkin, and Alan Alda, I know a little bit about each of them. I've met Alan Alda a bunch of times. I have the feeling that show business is the least interesting topic to the three of them. Alan would come in here and want to talk about science.
Right, exactly. He'll talk about math.
Right, this is the stage of life that these guys are at, and they've done it. They've been there, done that.
And they don't want to talk about the old stories, and they want to live. You saw, I'd be curious to know, you saw the interview with Jerry Lewis that reporter did?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
painful.
yes.
Now, why did you think it was painful?
Several reasons. I thought the person was really unprepared.
So did I.
I felt bad for her.
Me too. Keep going.
Gil?
No, I think I'd go along with that. Like
He was ill-prepared.
Yeah.
You're coming to see Jerry Lewis, and he doesn't want to talk about his past. Jerry Lewis still thinks he's vital. He does. I mean, you've seen, I saw him at the Friars. He still goes around talking. He's not dead yet. And he really, look, I'm old, and I think I'm 32. And I'm lying when I say I'm 32 because I really think I'm 27. If I see a beautiful woman and I'm talking to her and I think, oh, maybe I'll get some, like Frank Gorshin. Oh, I'll get somewhere. And then I happen to look at my reflection in the mirror. I go, oh, my God. I can't believe that I think that I'm going to get somewhere. You know? It's like, what am I doing? Well, I mean, Jerry Lewis still thinks that way. He still thinks I'm capable of doing a movie, or I'm capable of being someone important, or having influence on it. And here comes this schmuck kid, and right from the get-go, this kid thinks he's, oh, what am I going to ask about? Hey, lady, or, and I thought...
And he starts it off with, so, you ever going to retire?
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of a question is that to ask a legend who still thinks he deserves to be working? And I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but in his mind, you got to know the ego. And I thought Jerry Lewis was perfection. Fuck that kid. Just fuck him. That's what I feel.
Because he asked it, and he sees Jerry Lewis gets pissed, and he keeps asking.
He keeps asking.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, my defense went through some sort of chain that I have with some friends, and somebody sent a link of Ricky Gervais interviewing Gary Shandling.
Oh, that was a train wreck.
Yeah, it sort of was, but it was very interesting to see Gary Shandling's dignity and graciousness in handling Ricky Gervais, who I love both of them.
Yeah, me too.
I love Ricky Gervais. It wasn't a train wreck, but it wasn't
Well, it was
what
uncomfortable.
it should have been.
It was
a little uncomfortable, and Gary
overstating
Shandling handled himself with aplomb, as opposed to Jerry Lewis. However, both, knowing Jerry Lewis, you would expect that of him, and the kid deserved it. Okay, there you go. I've said this is point counterpoint.
we got anything else for this man?
I got so much.
You want to say some kind words about your friend Miguel, who we lost?
Yeah. Miguel was a great guy.
Miguel Ferrer.
Miguel Ferrer. You were friends with a very long time.
Yeah, I was, and I'll tell you a great story that you're gonna like a lot, Gilbert. And it involves one of your guests who has been here, and I'm speaking well of the deceased, but it's sort of funny. When I first got to Hollywood, I was friends with George. Okay, George was my dearest friend and showed me around Hollywood, introduced me to a lot of people. So one afternoon, we're going over to Billy Mooney's house. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Mooney's house, he's got a pool, and there's lots of people there. A guy named David Jolliffe, who you might remember from Room 222, guy with the big red hair.
Oh, my God.
So David Jolliffe and Mooney, and there a lot of
Bernie.
people. And my friend Ben Weiss, and who else was there? It was great. So we're there, and George, who was Miguel's cousin, is there, and so we're all swimming, and I'm sitting there, and Miguel is over halfway across the yard, changing into his bathing suit, and I am craning my neck to see Miguel change. Okay, I'm all nobody see, and all of a sudden George comes out, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like looking at his car, and I said, "Well, I heard that Miguel was well endowed." Like I said, I heard that Jose was very well endowed. I want to see if Miguel is. And George goes, "Miggy, come over here." And needless to say, I miss Miguel. He's a great guy, a great actor, a swell fellow. I didn't go to his memorial because I had to work here in town, and I'm so sorry for him. There's a few guys who have been passing away of late. A great actor, but you wouldn't know him, named Kevin Gear. But it's tough. I've been hearing. I don't know what it is.
It's hard to lose people too before their time. You know,
yes,
it feels extra unfair.
Yes,
It hit me what Hollywood magic that is. George Clooney and Miguel Ferrer.
Oh, our cousins.
Yeah,
and Rosie was the Madonna of her time.
Sure.
You know,
sure,
I
sure.
mean, and you know, and Kennedy and stuff like that. It was Bobby Kennedy's death that made her gain 200 pounds. She was depressed. She was flat out.
I never knew
depressed.
that. That's interesting.
Flat out, clinically depressed by his death, and just couldn't tear away. The world was horrible back then with those three deaths, and now, you know.
And you had that other interesting connection, which you shared with us on the last show with Jose.
With Jose,
and the first audition.
I said, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, that was real, and but that royalty continues because Gabri is a big voiceover guy. You have Debbie Boone, who is a star. Its tentacles went all over. George's dad was
Nick Clooney.
Nick Clooney. Supposedly, it was Betty Clooney, Rosie's sister, who was the one who had the voice, married to Tito, somebody who was the not Zabe Cugat, but
Tito Puente?
No, it wasn't Tito Puente. Some Latin band leader.
Oh, that's
but
interesting.
She was married to him, and she was the one who had the voice and died of a tumor, of a brain aneurysm or something, like in her early 30s. And she was the great, great talent. It was tragic. So, yeah, really something. Yeah.
Well, this man has to get to dinner.
Well, after talking about that, about brain tumors.
We didn't mean to bring it down.
Yeah.
Now, you said at the end of the show, you'd say, who was the all-American father?
Yeah, I'll tell you off mic.
Hawk?
I got a guess, by the way, but I want to guess after we turn the mics off.
Guess after. He was a good man, and I don't.
Is he no longer with us?
He's no longer with us.
Okay, then it's not my guess.
Okay.
No longer with us.
All right.
All righty.
So we've had a second time on our program.
Honest to God, I hope you can glean something. Do some judicious
Oh, are you kidding?
cutting.
They're gems here.
I don't know.
Which convinces me maybe you're homeless when you leave here.
No, when you offered me no food at your house, I had to come to Nutmeg to get food. It's the only reason I'm here.
Rich, we could do 40 shows. We never asked you why your character in Scrubs was named Harvey Korman. Was that Bill's joke? Bill Lawrence's joke?
No, there's a reason.
Okay, take us out with that.
There was a girl who wrote for the show whose last name was Corman. And, I want to say Maddie Corman, but I think it's Maddie Corman. Oh, my God. And she's a lovely person, married to a wonderful comedy writer. She's a great comedy writer of herself. Oh, my God, I can't believe if I didn't get her last name. But her name was spelled with a C.
Okay.
And named after her father.
Oh.
Harvey Korman. Not the Harvey Korman, named after Harvey Korman.
Right.
Her father.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I think but it's not Maddie Korman. That's another. Oh my golly. Okay.
We'll put it up when you tell us who it is. We'll put it up on social media.
Yeah, all right.
We'll give her her. We'll give her her due.
And yeah, but you know what? I don't want to do this like again. Have me in with like Drew, who I'm dying to meet.
Okay.
Dying to meet.
Okay. You want to be part of a round table?
Like a round
discussion.
table. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll do it Charlie Rose style.
You don't have to worry about not doing this again because we're not having you back.
And we want to thank you again for not only being a fan of the show, but you helping us get Tony Roberts and guests to come.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll hit you up for Emmett Walsh.
Yeah, I'll try and get anybody I can. Because I want to hear.
We're grateful.
I want to hear these
We're
things.
grateful to you.
Like you had Ronnie Shell. I'm telling you, 100 times I've had breakfast with him at this round table. I heard stories that I've never told.
He never told you the Alan Ladd story with the chickens?
Never. Isn't that the greatest?
That's great.
Yes.
But you can't imagine the jokes I've heard over and over and over.
I know.
But oh my God. Okay, get out of here.
Okay, I'm Gilbert Gottfried. This has been Gilbert Gottfried.
Give me my credits. Wait, before we leave, just give me my credits. Goodbye.
I'm Gilbert Gottfried. This has been Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast with my co-host Frank Santopadre. We've once again been recording at Nutmeg with our engineer Frank Verderosa.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
And our guest is the person who wrote the song Sign Everywhere Sign.
The five-man electrical band.
Me and God watching Scotty grow.
We got to get Bobby Goldsboro.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He's on my list.
And my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Where does he come up with these things? Watching Scotty grow.
Hey, how about Tom Smothers? Get Tom Smothers.
We got to get Tom. We got to get Tom.
Great.
Get out of here. Enough talk.
We love you.
Brilliant songwriter, Richard Kind.
Thank you, Bing Bong.
Yeah, right.